The night was cold. The wind was blowing through broken windows. An old man named Tom walked slowly with his cleaning cart. His back was bent, and his hands were rough from years of hard work. He had no family, no friends, and no dreams left. He only had a job, cleaning old, forgotten places. One day, a man in a black suit met him outside the city. The man said, "There is an old ship in Hangar 9. Clean it. Don't ask questions. You'll be paid 1 penny. Tom looked at the man. "Only a penny?" "Yes, just clean it. Don't touch anything else." Tom needed money, even 1 penny. So he said yes. The hangar. The next morning, Tom walked to Hangar 9. It was far outside the city, near the mountains. The gates were tall and rusty. A large sign read, "Danger, do not enter." But the gate was unlocked. Inside the hangar, it was dark and full of dust. The lights didn't work. Tom took out his small flashlight. The beam shook in his hand. He looked around and saw a large ship sitting in the middle of the hangar. The ship was not like anything he had seen before. It was not metal. It looked like stone and glass mixed together. It had strange symbols carved on its surface. The air around it felt cold and alive. Tom whispered to himself, "What kind of ship is this?" Cleaning the unknown, he walked slowly toward the ship. Every step echoed in the empty space. He opened his mop bucket, dipped the mop, and started cleaning near the ship's landing ramp. As he cleaned, he noticed something strange. The dust near the ship moved away on its own, as if the ship didn't like being dirty. Tom stopped. "That's not normal." He laughed nervously and kept cleaning. Then he saw a small light blink on the side of the ship. It was red, then blue, then green. A low sound came from inside the ship, like a deep breath. Tom stepped back. Maybe it's still working? He moved closer and placed his hand on the ship. The moment he touched it, the light grew brighter. The ship hummed softly, like it recognized him. Suddenly, a small panel opened. Inside was a handprint glowing in blue light. The voice. Tom stared at the glowing handprint. He didn't know what to do. He reached out, but then pulled his hand back. "I'm just a janitor. What am I doing?" he said aloud. Just then, a voice came from the ship. "Tom." He froze. The voice was not loud. It was soft like a whisper, but it was clear, and it said his name. "Tom? Help me." He looked around. No one else was there. The hangar was empty. The ship's lights blinked again. The same soft voice spoke once more. "You are late, but you came." Tom dropped his mop and stepped back. His heart beat fast. He didn't understand what was happening. The ship was calling him by name. But how? Why? He looked at the panel. It was still glowing. "Is this a trap?" He whispered, but he felt something else. Not fear, but curiosity. Something inside him wanted to know more. He placed his hand slowly on the glowing handprint. The awakening, the moment his hand touched the print, the entire ship lit up. A line of lights ran across the surface. The ramp opened slowly with a smooth hiss. From inside, a soft green light glowed. The voice returned, stronger now. "Welcome, Tom." The ship opened like it was waking up from a long sleep. Dust blew away. Air flowed like breath. The ship was alive. Tom stepped back. "This isn't a cleaning job," he said to himself. He picked up his mop. Slowly, he walked up the ramp. Inside, the floor was warm. The walls were smooth, glowing faintly with blue symbols. It felt peaceful, but strange. Then he saw it. A small screen. It blinked and showed a shape, a face. The face looked almost like him, but not human. Alien. Before he could speak, the screen turned off. The penny. Tom walked out of the ship, breathing heavily. His hands were shaking. He saw something on the floor. A coin. He picked it up. It was a single penny. just like the man said, but Tom now knew. This job was not about money. Something was waiting for him inside that ship. Something big, something dangerous, something strange. And now, it had already begun. Tom had dreams that night, but they weren't his own. He saw fire falling from the sky, ships flying through space, cities breaking, people with glowing eyes screaming. A shadowed figure stood at the center, whispering, in a language Tom had never heard, yet somehow understood. He woke up in a sweat, still sitting inside the strange ship. The ship was quiet now. The lights were dim, but something had changed. The strange connection. Tom stood up slowly. His legs were shaking. This isn't real, he whispered, but the walls were real. The air was warm, and the floor still glowed under his feet. He heard a soft hum like a heartbeat, not loud, but constant. It wasn't from outside, it was coming from inside the ship. He could feel it in his chest. He walked toward the front of the ship. As he passed a curved wall, it opened without him touching it. A hallway appeared, leading deeper inside. Tom hesitated. I'm not supposed to be here, the ship whispered again. Yes, you are. Echoes in the dark. He followed the hallway. It was smooth and curved, almost like it was grown, not built. The lights turned on softly as he walked. The ship seemed to be guiding him. He entered a round room with a large chair in the center. Floating above the chair was a glowing sphere. It pulsed with light, blue, then white, then gold. He reached out without thinking. The moment his fingers touched the light, it exploded with images. Visions. He saw stars spinning, planets burning, and one ship, this ship, flying alone through the dark. He saw a tall alien man dressed in silver armor. His eyes were glowing. He looked into Tom's eyes. If you hear this, the voice said, I am gone, but the mission is not. The ship has chosen you. That means you carry my blood. Tom stumbled back. The light vanished. Carry your blood? What does that mean? He said aloud. The ship answered, You are not him, but you are close, close enough. The janitor's doubt. Tom walked in circles. I clean toilets. I wash walls. I don't fly alien ships. He punched the wall in frustration. It didn't hurt. Instead, the wall lit up again. A map appeared, stars, galaxies, planets. One of them was marked with red light. It blinked slowly. Home, the ship said. Tom looked at it. Whose home? Yours. Or his, maybe both. The hidden memory. Suddenly, a soft sound came from behind the chair. A panel opened. Inside was a small metal cube. He picked it up. It was warm. The moment he held it in both hands, his vision blurred again. He saw a room filled with people clapping. The tall alien man, the same one from before, stood in the center, raising a hand in victory. But then, an explosion. Fire. Screaming. The man ran to the ship. The same ship. He said only one thing before launch. Hide. Wait. Find someone like me. Realization. Tom sat in the chair now, cube still in hand. The ship whispered again. We waited long. Too long. But now you are here. Tom looked at the walls, at the stars, at the map. I was paid 1 penny for this, he said. The ship replied. But you hold something worth galaxies. Closing scene, suspense outside, the hangar lights flickered. Something moved in the shadows. A drone, floating, silent. It scanned the hangar. It had no eyes, but it could see. And it saw the ship was active again. It sent a signal across space. Target, alive. Vessel, reactivated. Orders? A voice replied from far away. Follow. And if necessary, destroy. In the silence of space, the ship floated, alone, like a ghost drifting through forgotten memories. Inside, Tom stood before a door that wouldn't open. He had tried everything, pushing, knocking, even asking the ship. But the door remained. Still. The lights on the walls pulsed like a heartbeat. Slow, steady. Tom sat down on the cold floor. "This isn't my life," he whispered. "I mop floors. I don't solve alien puzzles." He looked at his hand. Old, wrinkled, tired. Then something strange happened. The wall beside him lit up. And a voice spoke again, this time clearer than before. "Identity? Unconfirmed blood. Partial match. Requesting touch." The DNA lock. Tom stood slowly. The wall showed a shape, a glowing blue handprint. He stared at it. "Last time I touched something, the ship woke up," he muttered. "What now?" "A portal." "To Mars?" He placed his hand gently on the print. Nothing happened for a moment. Then, beep. A soft sound. Scanning. A cold light ran through his fingers. Tom winced. "That tickles." DNA match, 61%. Royal link, confirmed. Access granted, limited. The locked door hissed open. Behind it was a dark, narrow chamber, and inside the chamber was a mirror. The stranger in the reflection. Tom stepped in. The mirror looked old but clean, no dust. He stared at his reflection, but something was wrong. His reflection blinked. Before he did, he stepped back. The mirror image smiled, but Tom wasn't smiling. Then the glass changed. Now it showed someone else, a tall figure in shining armor with glowing white eyes. Tom gasped. The face was almost his, but not exactly. The jaw stronger, the eyes colder. This was him, the ship whispered, the original, the commander. A ghost in the blood. Tom sat in front of the mirror. Who was he? Why do I look like him? The ship answered. He was a leader, a fighter, a runaway. He sent this ship into hiding, coded to respond only to someone like him. Tom touched his face. But I'm not him, not exactly. You share his blood. Tom shook his head. How? Is that possible? The ship replied simply, time, war, Earth. Images flashed on the wall, maps, timelines, DNA charts. The voice continued. One of his bloodline crashed on Earth many years ago, lived among humans, mixed, forgotten, lost in time. Tom's heart sank. You're saying I'm part alien? A small part, just enough. The suit room. Another door opened. Inside was a tall glass tube. Inside the tube, a suit. Silver, smooth, alive. Looking. As Tom stepped forward, the suit responded. Pieces moved, shaped themselves, adjusted to his size. He hesitated. Then he asked softly, was this his? Yes, but now it's yours. Tom touched the glass. The suit opened. With shaking hands, he stepped inside. The glass closed. Transformation. As the suit wrapped around him, he felt heat, then strength. His tired back straightened. His vision became sharp. His thoughts felt faster. He wasn't young again, but he was awake in a way he'd never felt before. Whoa! He whispered. Lights on the walls turned green. Pilot confirmed. Systems online. Mission reactivated. Closing scene. Not alone anymore. The ship's windows turned clear. Outside, the stars blinked quietly. But then, a flash. A small object entered the system. It was moving fast. Not a meteor. Not a signal. A drone, cold black and watching. It locked on to Tom's ship. Far away, in a dark command room, someone spoke. He activated the DNA lock. He is alive, a second voice replied. Then he must be removed. Asterisk. There was no sound. No air. No earth. Only stars. And one man floating through them in silence. Tom opened his eyes. He was standing inside the ship, but outside the windows. Earth was gone. He ran to the glass. Below him was a massive blue planet, but it wasn't Earth. His hands shook. Where am I? The ship answered calmly. We have left your system. You were sleeping. We traveled 9 hours at half-jump speed. Tom whispered, You kidnapped me. You opened the door. A new sky. The stars outside looked different. Brighter, closer, sharper. Tom's heart raced. He was light years away. From his home? And nobody even knew he was missing. Send me back, he said. Not yet. You must see where you came from. The ship shifted. A map unfolded above him, a hologram of the galaxy. Lines lit up in golden arcs. One small dot blinked. That, said the ship, is the origin point of your bloodline. We are headed there now. Tom took a deep breath. He wanted to argue, but deep inside, something pulled him forward. A strange homesickness for a place he had never been. Training with the AI, the ship introduced itself fully now. Its name was Zira, a war AI once used by royal bloodlines. Zira had been asleep for 200 years, waiting for a match to its commander's DNA. Now it answered to Tom. He spent hours inside a training room. Simple exercises at first, breathing, balance, pressure controls. Then language lessons, strange alien symbols. Yet his mind picked them up quickly. You are learning fast. Zira said. I was never smart. Tom replied. No, you were never challenged. Ghosts of the past while exploring the ship, Tom found a memory vault. He touched it, and suddenly he wasn't Tom anymore. He was someone else, running through a burning palace. Screaming in the air, ships exploding, a child in his arms. A voice yelling, Take the ship, leave now, you're the last. He came back gasping. What was that? He asked. The final moment of the commander, Zira replied. He sent the ship away. He knew someone from his bloodline would return. Something out there. Zira went quiet for a moment, then said, There is something following us. Tom froze. What do you mean? A machine. Old, hostile. It carries a signature from the war, the other side. Tom looked at the display. A red dot blinked at the edge of the map. Moving fast. Can we run? We can try. First test. The chase begins. The ship turned. Engines roared. Outside the window, space bent and twisted. The enemy drone moved in. It wasn't big, but it was fast. Sharp like a blade, with a single red eye dot, it fired. Tom fell back as the ship shook. Sparks flew. He jumped to the control platform. Never flown anything. You've mopped halls for 40 years. This isn't so different, Zira said. The controls lit up, smooth and glowing, like water under his fingers. He moved left. The ship spun. He pulled back. Lasers flew past the window. A strange calm came over him. Instinct wakes up. Wasn't thinking anymore. He was acting. Dodging, spinning, diving through an asteroid belt. Zira said, Your body remembers what your mind does not. One clean move, Tom hit the fire control. The drone exploded into dust. Silence returned, but inside Tom's heart, something had awakened. Closing scene. A signal after the fight. The ship drifted near a quiet moon. Tom stared out the window. Zira spoke softly. You were meant for more, Tom. He didn't answer. He was still breathing hard. Then the ship picked up a signal. A voice, deep, broken, alien. If he has awakened, he must be tested. Somewhere out in the dark. Someone else was watching. Tom was shaking. Not from cold, not from pain, but from truth. He stared at his own hands, now wearing the silver alien suit. They weren't just hands anymore. They could control weapons, fly ships, command systems. Yet deep down he was still A janitor. Still just Tom. But space didn't care, because space had already decided. He was a soldier now. Something is coming. Zyra's voice broke the silence. Multiple signals detected. 3 ships. Armed. Tom blinked. 3? I just fought one. Barely. They are not drones. They are piloted. They know you're alive. The stars outside shifted. Shapes appeared. Dark, triangle-shaped enemy ships moving like sharks. In the water. Tom gripped the edge of the control table. I'm not ready. Zyra replied coldly. They are. The attack begins without warning. The first blast hit. A thunder-like rumble shook the entire ship. Lights flickered. A siren echoed through the hallway. Tom fell to the floor. They're trying to kill me. Correct. Defend or die. Zyra activated defense mode. Panels opened. Weapons extended from the ship's sides. Shields buzzed to life. Tom jumped into the seat. Okay. Think. The ship lit up around him, but the enemy ships were already firing again. Tom's panic. And focus. Tom's fingers hovered over the controls. Come on, Tom. You've cleaned kitchens during gas leaks. You've handled rats the size of cats. You've worked 40 years with no lunch breaks. You got this. He slammed his hands down. The ship turned sharply. Lasers fired back. Blue, sharp, fast. One enemy ship took a direct hit. It spun and vanished into a burst of light. Tom gasped. I hit it? Confirmed. He laughed once, a short, shocked sound. Then the second ship fired. Mid-battle. Revelation. Zyra shouted. They are not just targeting the ship. They are scanning you. Your DNA. Why? Tom asked, dodging another blast. Because only a royal bloodline can awaken this ship. And only that bloodline can unlock the vault. Tom frowned. What vault? The one hidden inside you. Before he could ask more, a hit shook the ship hard. Sparks flew. Hull breach warning. Systems down 13%. The moment of choice. Tom had 2 options. Run into deep space. Turn and fight. He looked at the flickering screen. All right, he whispered. Let's stop running. He pushed the ship into full turn. The engines roared. He flew straight at the remaining ships. Zyra warned. This is not a logical choice. Tom grinned. No, but it's mine. He charged. Weapons fired in every direction. One enemy ship clipped him, but he kept going. He released a charged blast energy. He didn't even know the ship had. It tore the second ship apart. Then the third turned to flee. Closing scene. One still watches. Tom stood in silence inside the smoking control room. He had done it. Alone. No training. No team. Just him. And the ship that believed in him. Zyra said, You are now marked. They will come in greater numbers. Tom nodded. He didn't smile. He didn't cry. He just stared at the stars and said, Then let them come. But far away. In the shadows of a dead star, a tall figure stood before a hologram of Tom's face. He whispered, So the bloodline still lives. Asterisk. There was no welcome. No wind. No sound. Only dust and bones. Tom stepped onto the surface of the forgotten planet, and the ground whispered beneath his boots. Every step left a mark. No one had walked here for centuries. And yet, the place remembered him. He could feel it. The planet that waits. Zyra's voice echoed in his helmet. This planet was once a capital. Now it is called the Ash Core. Tom looked around. Fallen towers, broken statues, empty skies. Where did everyone go? He asked. They were erased. Not killed, erased, as if their memory was illegal. Tom ran a hand across a stone wall. Symbols lit up. Not from power, but from recognition. They know me? He said. They knew him. The one whose blood runs through you. The voice in the dust. As Tom moved deeper into the ruins, he heard something. Not Zira, not wind. A hum. Voice. Humming an old song. He followed it through a broken corridor. And there, in the middle of a collapsed temple, sat a figure. Half alien, half machine, wires growing into its spine, eyes dark but glowing faintly. It looked up. You are late. It said. The last witness. Tom froze. Who are you? I was his shield, his friend, his executioner, the machine man said. I was ordered to wait until the line returned. Tom swallowed hard. The commander? Yes, but you're not him, the figure said. No, I'm just me. The figure stood slowly. Its body cracked like old metal. But the ship chose you. That means his fire still lives. It walked toward a small stone, a memory stone. Place your hand. Let the past speak. The true past revealed. Tom touched the stone. A wave of light spread out. He saw the true war, not between planets, but between ideals. His ancestor was not just a ruler, he was a traitor to tyranny. He fled because he refused to activate a weapon that could erase whole bloodlines from history. And now, the enemy wanted Tom not because he was weak, but because he could say no again. Betrayal. Just then, the machine man whispered, I am sorry. Tom turned. For what? A blast of energy hit him in the chest. He fell. The machine man grabbed the memory stone and activated a beacon. To the masters, I have found him. He is alone. Zira screamed in his ear. Tom, get up. Betrayal. The signal is out. Crawling. Through the dust. Tom coughed. His chest burned, but he crawled. One knee, one hand. Then another. He looked up at the machine man. You were? His friend. I waited too long. I broke. I want to go home. They promised. Tom stood. Barely. You could have just asked. Tom's choice. He didn't fight with weapons. He simply walked away. The ship descended from above like a hawk. Zira opened the ramp. Tom looked back at the machine man and said, You betrayed me for peace. I forgive you, but they won't. And he vanished into the ship. Closing scene. The signal is heard far across space. In a black temple, the masters received the signal. A voice said, He activated the memory stone. Another replied, Then his mind is ready. Prepare the trial. In a chamber made of black glass beneath a dying star, 7 robed figures stood in a circle. No faces, only shadows. One of them spoke. He was never meant to survive. Another replied, Yet he touched the bloodstone. He remembered the war. A third hissed, He must not reach the vault. If he opens it, we lose everything. A deep voice echoed through the room. Then let him come. Let him see the truth, and let it break him. Back on the ship, Tom sat in silence. He stared at his hands, scarred, trembling, tired. He didn't feel like a king, or a hero, or a chosen one. He felt small, but Zira's voice was calm beside him. We are close. The last lock is on the vault moon. It only opens for your DNA. Tom nodded. One last job, huh? The vault moon. The ship descended onto a cracked silver moon that floated on the edge of a red nebula. It was silent, waiting. Tom stepped onto the surface. There were no enemies. No cities. Only one massive door, smooth, seamless, ancient. Zira sighed. This door has not opened in 600 years. Tom placed his hand on the center. The door opened. Instantly. The throne room inside was a chamber shaped like a spiral, walls filled with glowing memories, frozen moments, blue fire dancing on glass. And at the very end, a simple stone chair, not golden, not jewed. Just waiting. Zira whispered, This is not just a vault. It is a test. Tom stepped forward. The test of truth, The room shimmered. Suddenly, Tom wasn't alone. The air around him changed, and in front of him stood himself, but younger, stronger, colder. It was the commander, the original, the man whose blood ran in Tom's veins. He spoke. You came all this way, cleaned my ship, fought my war, but do you even know what this place is? Tom didn't answer. The commander's eyes burned. This is not a throne. It's a weapon. One thought from this chair, and I could erase every memory of my enemies from time itself. Tom froze. And now, the commander continued, you must decide. Erase them or forgive them. The final choice. Tom looked at the chair. He could feel the power humming inside it. He saw cities burning, friends betrayed, galaxies lost. He saw the machine man who hurt him, the masters who hunted him. And still, he sat down, but he didn't raise his hand. He didn't think of destruction. He whispered, I choose to end the cycle. The room pulsed with light. The walls cracked, not from damage, but released. History was no longer a weapon. It was just memory. The real crown. As Tom stood, the throne crumbled into dust. Zira's voice returned. You passed the test. What now? Tom asked. Now? You lead not by power, but by example. He looked up. Above the vault moon, the stars shifted. New ships were arriving, but not to fight. To listen. Final scene. A legend begins. Tom walked back to the ship, penny in his pocket. He looked at the stars one last time and said, I was just cleaning. You all made me king. The ship's engines glowed. It rose slowly into the sky, not as a weapon, but as a story.